Welcome back to Power Word Crit, everybody. My name is Corin, and I am your Dungeon Master today. With me are 3 unsuspecting players. They are...
Kayla, and I'm playing Celestine Peacechild.
I'm Ander, and I'm playing Lilac.
I'm Ashlyn, and I'm playing Izzy.
I'm David, and I'm playing Lord Usaker von Pride.
Last time on Power Word Crit, Lilac and Mykosia decided to go on a scouting mission. Lilac turned into a deer, Mykosia hopped on, and off they went. They were able to make it to the temple and watched as 2 baby wyverns and a mama wyvern take off across the river, presumably to find some food. Izzy communed with the wind, asking if it could tell her how many giants were on the plateau. The wind was able to reply 14. On the other side of the cave, Usaker, while writing, saw an ink blot turn into a skull, and later, his aunt's face. Thinking he might be having side effects from his dream escapade a couple nights before, asked Celestine to check on him. She didn't detect poison or magic on him, but did cast protection from poison and disease on him just in case. Back at the temple, Lilac turned into a rabbit and climbed the stone steps while Mykosia hid. He was able to get inside a small crack and see into a large room, covered in dirt and muck. But the room had signs of humanoid footprints throughout there. He also heard the sounds of another wyvern up on the 2nd level and immediately decided to bow out. He eventually found Mykosia hiding, and the 2 decided to stay until the wyverns stopped flying around. Later that day, Izzy felt the breeze pick up in the cave, and she felt the wind say, "Almost done, danger." We're going to start with Lilac and Mykosia.
We've been hiding out in a small little crack, not unlike the one that the rest of the party is in, just a bit smaller, and have been essentially taking a short rest, waiting for things to die down.
Yes.
So if you will allow that, I would like to take a short rest.
You are welcome to take a short rest.
Cool. Which is helpful for resetting my wild shape. So listening, do we hear the wyverns still active in the area?
Go ahead and make a perception check, please.
Hey, there's a good roll. It's a 19 on the die, and perception is +6 for a total of 25.
You listen really hard, and you don't hear the sounds of wings, and you don't hear the sounds of hissing or wyvern screams. So you think you're in the clear for now.
Mykosia, I think the coast is clear. It is a good time that we should move.
Yeah, I agree.
No, before we go, do we press on? Do we go back? We could look for the camp. Do not know exactly what this is, but maybe useful information to find. Based on the things you know, do you think there are more scouts this area? Is it dangerous? Trusting your advice as a local.
She thinks about it for a moment, and she turns to look at you, and she says, "Lilac, I'm really scared. This is really scary.
Yes.
However, we came to do a job, but I don't know what to do."
This is a brave thing to say. When you do not know. It is not a dishonorable thing. It is dishonorable to say you know when you do not.
I want my home back, but I'm also worried that if we don't make it back, our friends are going to be buried. So
this is urgent, yes.
maybe we go at night. So we know that they are mostly humanoid, and like you see her gear starting to go. And we do know that some of them are able to see at night. We do know that the wyverns can see at night. However, it might be better for us to go at night because that knocks out quite a few more people than elves and maybe half-orcs and them. What do you think?
I think this is good. Perhaps we do one more look before we go if we are going to be waiting longer. Can try going as a smaller creature, such as lizard. The wyvern's probably not as interested in lizard as rabbit.
Okay.
To find out more information, this is a good first look, but we need more to know what.
I agree. We do need more. And she sits down and she takes a couple more breaths. You see that her hands are shaking?
Take comfort. You will be safe here. There are no giants to throw rocks.
That is true. Hold on. We're getting into the part of the area where I'm really good at knowing where we are. However, I'm trying to think of the most plausible place that they could have put their camp.
Mm.
How many people do you think are going to be there? Because depending on how big they are, that would determine where we should look. The mountain range is going to start splitting, and so we kind of need to figure out where we're going.
This is a question probably answered better by the others. This one has not seen them, the armies of the cult. But sounds like many.
Well, we do know their town was attacked that they were in. Do you know how many towns were actually attacked? Was it just them? Or...
No, there were other towns. Maybe not as a large force attacked these towns, but other towns around the coast have been attacked.
That's quite a lot of people. And we do know that there's kobolds there. I have a few places that we should probably look. There are, pardon my comment.
These good common.
Thank you. I try. There are 2 areas behind this plateau that I think that maybe they would go into. However, one of them, well, it's haunted, so I'm not entirely sure. We have stories about it.
If
I'm not
Lilac had
sure.
eyebrows, they would go up.
Yeah.
Do you not have brows over your eyes?
I guess there's probably ridges. His eye ridges raise.
Eye ridges raised. Well, now that I think about it, maybe going into a haunted place with a whole bunch of people is probably the best place to go. But there's 2 places on the other side of this plateau. There's one other, dugout area, maybe about 15 miles north of here, and another one that they possibly could be at about 10 miles east. So, if a lot of towns are attacked, maybe 4 areas.
Koja, you have sparked my interest on this. What do you know of the haunted place?
Oh, well, let me pull up my notes really quick, and I'll tell you.
Yes, the notes are very useful.
I have many notes.
Cannot always remember things in the head. Can remember things on the paper.
I like how she just brings her notes with her as she's tracking.
So Mykosia pulls out her meta-knowledge notes, and she says, well, we call it the Caves of the Ancestors. It's kind of a story our parents passed down to us and theirs to them, and basically, orcs and giants used to live harmoniously in this region till about maybe 10 or 11 generations ago. The orcs and the giants began feuding, which turned into bloodshed, yada yada yada. It said that the clan leader of the giants and the clan leader of the orcs were fighting at the top of the plateau, and both of them fell during the fight. Before they hit the ground, both of them called upon the same god to curse the other, and the god granted both of their wishes. And the god bottled up their last breaths in a jar, never to be opened. The curse laid upon the giants and the orcs were that they would forever feud over land, sea, and air, and would never be able to inhabit their birthright land for longer than 6 new moons. And she slams her book together and pockets it.
This is a good story.
Yeah, we've definitely traveled by it, but it's kind of creepy. Lots of abandoned caves and yeah.
This is the other side of the plateau, you said.
Yeah. That's actually... I don't know why I didn't think about this before. That's probably where they are. I would definitely hide in some spooky place.
It would make other people not want to go there.
Yeah.
Stories.
Especially the inhabitants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep them away.
Yeah.
Man, I'm good at my job.
Yeah. This is why we bring you along on these things.
She
Yes.
beams. Her hands are still shaking a little bit, but she beams a little bit more.
Koja, you are the best ranger I have been with, best tracker.
She smiles widely. All right, so did you want to go? It's a few miles away.
Yes, this is something we do.
Okay, let's go.
And we go.
All right. Are you wild shaping?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to deer shape. Yes.
Okay.
She recommended going at night, but that was for the purpose of not getting seen by the humanoids. Is that what she said? Or
Right.
Okay. Sure.
But you definitely could get closer if you wanted to.
It's not very far. It's just a couple miles, right?
It's about 7.5 miles away. She does tell you are going to have to backtrack a couple miles, though.
Well, let's go ahead and do that.
All right, you're in deer form?
Yes, because I moved the fastest there. I was either thinking that or turning into a mountain lion or something. I'm going to turn into a mountain lion.
Nothing is cooler than a super tiny orc riding a giant panther.
Right.
Just saying.
Mountain lion.
Mountain lion. This is a cougar.
Mountain lion. That's even cooler. So Lilac, you and Mykosia set off as the sun is starting to set. And go ahead and roll a stealth check. And hold on to that number. We're going to go back to the camp. Izzy, the sun is setting, and you heard, or rather felt, the wind tell you almost done, danger.
At that, I'm going to perk up, and I'm going to see if I can get any more intention from the wind, if they can... Is the danger immediate?
Okay. Are you going to commune?
I'm going to try to commune, yes.
Okay. And so what is the word that you're trying to say?
I'm trying to say when.
Okay.
Or like how soon.
It takes 10 minutes. And you hear unclear, big.
So I take it's the giants. Maybe they're going to be walking by the crevice and we don't want them to see us. So I'm going to turn to everyone else here in the cave with me, and I'm going to say, let's stay back away from the entrance to the crevice. This isn't big enough for a giant to come through, right?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to say, let's stay away from the entrance. We don't know if any giants might be walking in front of there as they're leaving for the day, and we don't want them to catch sight of us. So let's head back towards the other end of the cavern.
Okay. And as you guys scoot further away from the edge, about 5 minutes later, from where you can see outside, you can actually see a giant starting to head towards the ground and is starting to walk around the area. And it has a club.
I'm going to whisper, stay quiet.
I'm staying quiet.
Okay. I need you guys to make stealth checks.
How quietly can we breathe?
How stealthy is Usarker being right now?
Celestine, you notice that Usarker is breathing a little heavy. Like, maybe he's not necessarily like asthma, but like maybe he's a little flushed.
I'll keep an eye on him. I would ask him how he's doing, but we've got a giant outside, so I'll just keep an eye on him for a second.
Okay. Go ahead and do it with advantage, because you are hidden. You all have been hidden this whole time.
I don't need advantage.
Okay.
Oh, good. I do.
Yeah. Here's a
Take it,
question for
Celestine.
you.
Uh-huh.
Are you wearing your armor?
I am, but it's
Ooh.
mithril.
That's
Oh,
true.
that's right. Okay.
Yes. And she's standing still.
Oh, good. I rolled a 3 the first time. Now I rolled a 4.
Oh.
So that's a total of 2.
Okay.
Oh, jeez. Okay, well, does my nat 20 help counteract that?
I think I sneezed.
So this is a group check where a certain number of successes, a certain number of fails can balance each other out.
Cool.
Okay.
And
Does a
what's
nat
the
20 give you
result?
double success? I'm just
Nat
kidding.
20 counts as 2 successes.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Sweet.
it does.
That makes sense.
A natural one will count as 2 fails.
Yes.
So, the giant comes closer and closer. Celestine, what makes you make some noise?
You know, there's a lot of dust in here. It's been irritating my nose all day, and all of a sudden I just can't hold it in anymore.
You hear the giant stop.
Big chew.
The giant is 10 feet away from you,
From the entrance of
from
the
the
cave?
entrance
Okay.
of the cave.
I'm reaching for
You
my
can
warhammer.
see its legs outside of this hole.
I have my arms spread out and like my finger ready in case Celestine is going to sneeze again, so I can try and snuff her nose.
Snuff the sneeze.
You hear it mumble something in giant. You see it look around. It turns one way. It turns the other. And then you hear, "Achoo!" And a big glob of snot
Ooh.
slams into the ground.
Right in front of our cave entrance.
Yeah. More difficult terrain. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, it's
Wouldn't be
definitely
surprised.
gross to go through.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nasty.
The giant chuckles to themselves and continues on. You guys passed by 1 success.
Oh my
Oh, wow.
Thank goodness I rolled a nat 20.
Yeah.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Whoops.
As the giant walks away, you hear The giant let out a whoop of joy, and then you hear some banging and the sound of some poor animal squealing in pain, and then it stops.
I hope that wasn't Lilac.
I don't want to leave the cave just yet.
Nope. I mean, I'm going to hope that wasn't Lilac, and if Lilac doesn't come back in the next hour or two, then maybe it was Lilac and we need to move on.
We would have heard too if it was Mykosia as well.
That's true, unless I got separated.
In which case, Mykosia should hopefully make her way over.
Or else the giant has just really good aim.
And killed Mykosia before she can make a sound. Oh no!
Very efficient.
Oh no.
Giants are definitely efficient
At some things.
at some things. You see it drag what looks to be we're going to go with mountain lion. You see what looks to be a mountain lion behind him, and then he starts walking up the stairs. I say he, but you're not entirely sure what gender this thing is.
Do you think that could have been Lilac?
Well, I hear that druids change back if they get too injured.
Oh,
So I don't think it's Lilac.
yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Lilac is the first druid I've met, so.
I've met a few. Not often, though.
But that is some nasty snot.
We can't do anything about it. I guess if we're really desperate, we can, shovel dirt on it.
At this point, Usurker is next to you,
Oh, yeah.
and you feel his heat actually coming through your armor.
Oh, no. Usarker, you don't look so good.
You hear him start to wheeze, and his heavy labored breathing.
Oh,
He
gosh.
starts reaching for the collar of his shirt, and then passes out.
Ah, dang it. Okay. Well, I'm going to do a medicine check and see how he's doing.
Is he dead?
Go ahead and do a medicine check.
I'm glad I rolled much better on this one. 17.
17. Somebody heating up and then passing out seems a little bit familiar. This happened to Wesley.
Mhm.
However,
Heat exhaustion, I mean.
However, in Wesley's case, he was extremely hot. Usurker, on the other hand, seems to just have some sort of fever or maybe be having an allergic reaction to something. He is still breathing, and you can deduce with your medicine check that you do probably need to monitor him throughout the night.
Okay.
However, you're not entirely sure anything beyond that. He just looks like he's having a hard time breathing.
Okay, I am going to use some of my water and try to help cool him down from his fever. So get some cloths, wet them, and put it on his brow and things like that. And then I'm going to look through my herbs, and I'm sure there's something that I can burn or something that would help ease his breathing a little bit.
Would that be a nature check? Go ahead and do a nature check.
Nature or medicine?
I'll let you choose. Nature or medicine. Whichever's higher for you.
I like medicine. Medicine's a 4. 6. Dang it.
Ooh. You have some eucalyptus,
Okay,
and you have some mint.
we'll try both.
Okay. As the hours go on, his fever does seem to subside, but he does not wake up. So you think maybe the eucalyptus helped, but beyond that, he's just asleep.
Well, I'll keep an eye on him.
Well, you probably need your rest too, so I can watch him for a little bit.
Yeah, can I do detect magic as a ritual? Because he's been experiencing some really weird things, and I just want to double check to see if there's anything going on.
All right. You don't detect any magic, but go ahead and do an arcana check really quick. Because this is the second time you've cast it.
Yes. 19.
19. As you're, scanning him,
Mm-hmm.
yep, with your Faerun tricorder, trying to figure out what's going on with him.
Just a holy symbol.
Just a holy symbol, yeah. You're
Mobile cat scan.
You're detecting absolutely nothing. You've run into this before. You think that maybe there's some sort of spell that's maybe blocking what's going on with him. Maybe some sort of non-detection.
Okay. I'll need to look through my spell list and see if I can find something that would work against it.
You've been a cleric for a very long time.
It's been a few years.
Yeah. You have known for your detect magic to fail,
Mhm.
usually due to some sort of non-detection or maybe some sort of amulet that prevents magic from being detected, things like that.
Okay.
And the fact that you're getting nothing twice after something weird has happened, and you're pretty sure it's not poison.
Yeah, it's not poison. It's not
definitely
natural.
not disease. Something is a little wonky here.
Mm-hmm. So it could be magical just based on the fact that I've experienced times when there's non-detection. Okay.
Correct.
Knowing this, I will go to bed and let Izzy watch. Keep an eye on him. I think I've cast 8 on. I think I cast 8 on the whole party.
You did, yeah.
So he should be okay for the evening.
Are you casting it again? Because 8 only lasts
8 hours.
for 8 hours, right?
I'll do it again.
And that's 5 temp hit points for everybody in the cave?
Yep.
Okay.
Technically, it also increases your maximum. So it increases your maximum and current hit points by 5.
Okay.
So he is healthier than he was, even.
Good.
So maybe he can breathe a little easier. And I'll prepare some spells in the morning. I need to think and commune with Tempest and figure out what I should do next.
Okay. So back to Lilac and Mycosia. What was your stealth check?
I had a 16.
Okay, Mycosia got an 18.
Oh, good.
Whew, guys.
We are very stealthy.
The right people went on this mission.
Specialization is good.
So Lilac, you end up backtracking to the bottom edge of the plateau that you just came around. And remember when you guys first came up to it, Mycosia said that you could go towards the water or away from the water?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are actually heading east away from the water.
Okay.
So you're backtracking and going the opposite direction.
Okay.
Because your stealth is good, nobody has noticed you yet. You do not see anything in the sky, and nothing seems to bother you. You go another mile towards the east, around that plateau. From where you are now, you can see the opposite side of the temple, and you see that there are more stairs going up there. So it looks like there's stair steps that go both directions up towards that temple.
On opposite sides of the temple.
On opposite sides of the temple.
Okay.
You do not see any wyverns. You do not see any scout parties. You seem to be okay.
This is good.
You move another mile.
Mm-hmm. Assumingly we're following the edge of the plateau. Is that right?
Mhm.
Okay.
So you follow the edge of the plateau. The area is not difficult terrain yet. However, you guys do come up against an area that may have been part of a rock slide recently.
I would say things as Lilac, but I'm a mountain lion at the moment, so in his head he's like, these are the rock slides are common around here right now. It's just strange. Don't know if these are from the giants or from the unknown source. Maybe the dragons are having flying troubles and crashing into the plateaus.
They cause mass damage when they smack into these plateaus.
Yes.
Wyverns of mass destruction.
Oh, not wyverns, but the dragons.
The dragons of mass destruction. Got it. All right. You go on for another mile. You see more evidence of rock slides, but up on the upper levels, not necessarily on the lower levels. And at this point, the plateau is starting to curve southward.
It kind of hooks around us, is that right?
Yeah. So you guys have essentially traveled in like a horseshoe around the edge of this plateau. At this point, it's been an hour.
Okay. Halfway through my wild shape.
Halfway through your wild shape. You guys are going to need to make another stealth check.
Okay. Oh, that one's not as good. Total of 11.
11. Okay.
Guess I should have cast Pass Without a Trace. That's okay.
Can you cast it in your animal form?
No.
Actually, you know what? You would have advantage because at this point, the sun has already set.
Hey, I'll take it. It's the exact same roll.
Oh,
no.
So a total of 11.
All right. Mycosia got a unnatural 20.
Oh, good.
So this is going to be fun.
Yeah,
Okay. We're going to have some fun.
We're all about fun
Yeah,
here.
we're going to have some fun.
You can't kill him yet.
So Mycosia...
This is episode
29.
29.
One
We got
more
one more.
episode.
yeah, got to keep you alive until the next one. Then I can full out kill you.
Let's not aim for that, please.
So,
If it
As
just
you guys-
happens naturally.
as you guys continue south, because that plateau is starting to curve south again, you go for another mile. And I need you to roll a d20, please.
I got an 8.
As you were going, you hear the sounds of flapping again above you.
We stop and freeze and blend into the undergrowth.
Okay. You stop. You wait. And you see the outlines of 2 wyvern with 2 riders on top of them. Fly right by you. You are very lucky.
Oh.
Did they roll just incredibly poorly?
They did.
Oh, good.
Ah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Corin's streak continues.
Yes, it does.
I'll take them where I can get them.
Right.
When you hear the flapping get far enough away and you feel it's safe to continue, you can continue.
Yeah, we do so.
And at this point, you are at the southern tip of that plateau, and you're going to start going around the tiny, tiny tip, and you go another mile. Mykosia, at this point, leans into you and kind of pats the side of you and says, "We'll be getting to the area in another couple miles. Are you ready?"
I nod and snort.
Okay. Let's continue. And you go another mile. And what you see as you round the bend is a dugout area. And you see tons and tons, and by tons I mean hundreds and hundreds of tiny lights in a small crevice that is cut out of the plateau.
Cool. We have found the camp.
Success.
It's still far off, so you can see the lights. However, to find any sort of definition or anything, especially at night, you're going to have to get closer.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and do so.
Okay. So you get closer. Are you stealthing?
Yeah, of course. No, we are screaming.
We're doing the complete opposite of the stealth mission.
Awesome. Make an intimidation check instead of a stealth. No, I'm just kidding.
A single mountain lion against an entire
As you
cult.
get closer and closer, you, at this point,
Do you want me to make a new check as this is like a new situation?
this would be a new check, yes. So as you guys get closer, you do see more and more activity. You see lights moving around, and you do hear the faint sounds of snorting, very loud snorting. You do hear hissing nearby, not anywhere where you are. Well, not on the ground, but you do hear the sounds of hissing. You also hear night sounds. And it seems to be a lot more activity than, say, a haunted area.
Perhaps they removed the haunts and have taken up route.
Well, that would be great. I would love to, live there. There's
He
lots of
can't
great
have
places.
said that.
Yes. This is Lilic's internal monologue.
Oh,
Interacting with Mykosia's internal monologue.
yeah. Wait, are we internally monologuing? This is weird.
We have become one.
No. We are one.
So, as you get up there, please make a stealth check with advantage.
I have a 22 total.
Nice. Mykosia got a 17.
Good. I was beginning to regret not casting Pass Without a Trace before going in here. This would have been the time to do so.
Uh-huh.
As you approach, you see hundreds of tiny little lights on this 3-tiered cutout of the plateau.
Are the lights at the highest or lowest? Are they pretty evenly spread? What's the concentration kind of?
So from what you can see, there's a few areas of the camp that you can tell that there's a bunch of lights together. You do hear the sounds from where you are. You are, I'm going to say, about 200 feet away at this point. Okay? Is that good?
Okay.
Okay. You're about 200 feet away. You hear the sounds of laughter. You hear the sounds of crying. You hear the sounds of, like, coins, like the sounds of heavy metal being dropped on tables, and it sounds kind of like a tavern, but outside. The amount of lights that you see, they are interspersed throughout because people are walking around with torches. You do see some dancing lights. You do see some posts of torches all over the place. However, the lights are only on the ground level and what you can think is a second level, because The way that the lights are, it looks like there's some sort of slope. So,
That makes sense. It's the edge of the plateau.
yeah. You do see one single light up on top of the plateau. And the plateau is about 150 feet high. This is pretty high.
Okay.
This portion of the plateau is extremely high. The part that you were on before with the temple was only 100 feet high. This is higher. But yeah, it sounds like people are having a grand old time out here.
Okay. We've got a pretty good grasp of numbers. We know where they are.
You see hundreds of lights, so you can assume 1 to 2 people per that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's something else that I might be able to glean from that. Yeah, let's maybe see if I can find out who's in charge here, is my goal, I think. So we're going to make our way towards, maybe we back out a little ways
Okay.
and prepare to cast Pass Without a Trace, or either leaving my Koja here. So we back out
You back out.
and gonna discuss. So get far enough away that we will be able to communicate without arousing suspicion.
So you do see circular huts on the first level and on that slope. They're circular huts that are made of wood and maybe bone. You also see many more that have wooden like spokes in the middle and on the sides, but like on the top they have maybe hide or something on it. So it's not necessarily a closed hut, but more like a canopy with 4 posts on it that people are huddled under.
Okay. We've got 3 levels, hundreds of people.
And you hear all sorts of languages.
Oh. Okay. So a single light up top.
And that's all I can... You know what? Go ahead and make a perception check. Do you have dark vision?
The mountain lion does not. It has smell, but not dark vision.
Okay, so go ahead and do just a perception check. This will be with disadvantage, even though there's hundreds of lights. This area is quite large. And this is going to determine what I tell you about the terrain itself.
Sure. Pretty good between the two. Total of 16.
Total of 16. Okay, so you can deduce the longer that you look and the further you back out, you kind of see the shape a little bit more. You do see that this area is shaped like a horseshoe. It's just a little cutout horseshoe area. You do see a lower portion of the plateau that rises up from the surrounding land, but then it quickly steepens and ascends up to the sides of the walls 150 feet above the landscape. So it gently goes up into a point, and then there's a sharp incline in the back
Okay.
and on the sides. You do see some boulders, very large boulders, but that's all you can see. And also you can see right at the very front is a guard tower. It has 1 light in it. It's 2 stories. And with a 16, you think you see 2, maybe 3 people up there, but you're not entirely sure. But that is all I can give you on what this place looks like. And you said you have backed out.
We've gotten to back to a point where we can talk. I'm going to drop wild shape. Mekoja.
Yes.
This is an opportunity. See the light up top?
Yeah.
I think this is who is in charge. This one is thinking maybe this one finds out who is in charge. You do not have to go with me. Plan on maybe asking for help from the spirits to cloak us in either way. Also, perhaps turning into a small animal.
She thinks about it. If I go with you, that's double the chance of getting caught, but also double the chance of getting more information. But you can also turn into an animal that's a little less noticeable. And if I stay behind, I may have a chance to get back in case you don't. Sorry, that's a little...
No, these are valid things. I have planned.
I think I want to stay back, because you as an animal could probably get more than I can.
This is what I was going to recommend. But wanted to talk. This is good. So, we have plan is that if do not return an hour, go back. This one is probably captured or lost or eaten. This is always a problem.
It's true.
Gonna look around and see maybe a notable geographic feature like that we'd be able to meet up back at. Because you remember the boulder that was shaped like a carrot?
Oh, yeah, always. I always remember that one. It's really funny.
We meet there.
I can do that.
Good. So before turning into wild shape, I'm going to use my final pass without a trace.
Okay.
For that extra stealth bonus.
Woohoo.
And then I'm going to turn into a lizard. Because can't go wrong with lizards.
Mhm.
Can you climb on the side of the wall?
Can.
Okay.
As climbing speed, I work my way back into camp.
All right.
And I'm going around the edges, and then my plan is to go up the wall. Because the singular point, the singular light, is on the wall. Is that correct?
So there's a singular light on top of the plateau.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, we will go ahead and go there.
Okay. Please roll me a stealth check as a lizard with pass without trace.
Okay, and I'm using my animal stealth.
Yes.
So that is a 24.
That's a very good stealth.
That it is. I rolled the 12 on the dice.
So the light you were heading towards is at the very, very, very back.
I'm going around the southern edge. So crawling around the wall, moving as us night lizards do.
Okay. You're crawling. Go ahead and make a perception check. As you are passing these different areas, you're hearing the sounds of laughter. You're hearing the sounds of people upending tables. Somebody apparently just lost a game. You see money getting thrown it all over the place. You see a brawl off in the distance start to go through. Somebody's complaining about the ale and how bad it is.
Does it seem like there's a lot of money around?
There seems to be enough money around
Okay.
to be thrown around at people.
Enough to be thrown. That's interesting.
A couple people are throwing.
Make it rain, make it rain.
Make it rain. So go ahead and make a perception check.
14.
So as you're going along, you hear some gossip. So you hear a very, very stout dwarf just haphazardly mentioning about these half-fledged members. They don't have the same amount of initiative as we did as youngsters. I don't know why we keep taking them, but I guess we need strength during these raids that we're doing. Praise Tiamat! You've passed a group of kobolds, and you hear them speaking in Draconic, and you speak Draconic,
Good
right?
thing I understand Draconic.
You do, and you
Very
just...
convenient.
You see that they are kind of segregated off to the side. They're not with the humanoids. You hear them say, we did all this stuff for them, and they're not appreciative. They won't let us take any money. They won't let us do this. The only reason we're here is because Tiamat is cool, and we like her.
Loyalty.
You also hear them praising how wonderful dragons are as you pass, but you don't hear any specifics of that.
Okay.
You hear somebody mention prisoners and how the prisoners are, unfortunately, they were not as stocky as they thought, and so the prisoners will probably die within the next few days.
Oh. Yeah, there's a little bit of urgency, maybe.
I wonder what prisoners.
I haven't seen any of the prisoners yet.
You have not, no. And you also hear a dragonborn. You come across a dragonborn.
Ooh.
You hear a dragonborn mention the name Resmir, and that Resmir came by a few months ago in this area, and that she was here when Resmir was here, and that she came up with the plans of the camp, and then she pukes into a shrub.
Oh gosh.
She looks extremely drunk.
Have we heard the name Resmir?
You have.
I don't recall it.
It sounded familiar.
Lilac, you get about halfway into the camp, and you do notice that these slopes are getting steeper. So you're actually having a tough time staying sideways. Some of the walls are kind of going upside down, so you're kind of having trouble like keeping a good foothold, and you're not going to have to roll anything for this, but just letting you know, this area is a little bit dangerous.
Sure. Yeah.
You make it about 3/4 of the way through, and as you do see that gentle slope that goes up into a second level. And in this level, you see a lot more people. They are not drinking as heavily. They're not as raucous. They seem a little bit more distinguished. They are maybe quietly playing cards, passing around a joke or two, a couple jabs, but beyond that, this second level seems to be a little bit more reserved.
How are they dressed? Are they all like wearing the same uniform? All of the soldiers around and stuff like that.
So everybody here is just wearing plain clothes.
Okay.
There's no regalia, Cult of the Dragon regalia being worn at all in this area.
Okay.
You do see in the middle of this second level, there's a big area between the camps on the outside and this camp on the inside. You see a tent that is a lot more lavish. 4 guards standing outside of this thing. 2 in the front and 2 on the side. You also see 4 drakes, like those dog-like dragony things.
The ambush drakes.
Yeah. And they are slinking around this area. Every once in a while, a guard will reach down and give one a little scritch. But for the most part, everybody around this tent seems to be on high alert.
Okay. I was going to be fine sneaking by the guards, but the drakes give me a little bit of pause. I was just going to scoot in under the tent there and be like, aha. But
Do they look hungry?
do the drakes look hungry? Probably. They're on high alert.
This would be Arcana.
Roll the 12. If it's Arcana, it's +1 for 13.
Yeah, they look hungry.
Okay. Well, I've noted the place where the leader probably is.
You could probably... Well, you have to get back in 30 minutes. Never mind. I was going
Yeah.
to say you could watch it and see if anyone comes
Yeah, no,
out,
we're
but...
not gonna.
You said an hour, right?
Yeah, set an hour.
So at this point, you are about 2/3 of the way through this horseshoe area.
Okay.
And you don't have to get all the way to see what's on the top of the plateau. You do see from where you are, because if you try to get any closer, you're going to have to go straight up.
Yeah.
And that will probably eat into a lot of your time. You do see that is just another guard tower.
Okay.
As you are scaling this wall, though, you do also notice that you're running into more and more caves. Some big, some tiny, and some look inhabited by people, just hanging out in there.
Oh, okay. They look like more of the same kind of people.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, they gotta sleep somewhere, I guess. I'm gonna go in one of the caves. Just
Okay.
for kicks and just look around and see if it's anything notable or if it's just like, somebody's living here.
Go ahead and make an investigation check. The cave you go into is small. It can hold maybe 2 or 3 people. And you do see that there is somebody in there sleeping.
Total of 18.
You do see that somebody has claimed this as their own. You do see 2 more sleeping bags in there. And you see a small pack that has the flap open.
Gonna investigate the open flap, of course.
Okay, you gonna scuttle right on in there?
Yeah.
Okay. You do so. You see 50 gold binoculars, and you see a small stone of some sort. It's not glowing, but it's just a stone.
Does it look like a precious stone or something like that?
With that investigation check, yeah, it's a precious stone of some sort.
Okay. My initial thought was like, can I fit it in my mouth? But no, that's a little out of character.
So the answer is you could, but you're gonna do all of your climbing with disadvantage
Yeah. it's not worth
because
it.
you won't be able to see.
Chipmunk.
Yeah, and it's kind of out of character anyways. Is that Lilic wouldn't be one to just up and steal things.
You also see, like, kind of buried in there, you have to dig your nose a little bit. You do see that there's a couple stacks of very thin notebooks, but you can't really read what they are. It's too dark.
Yeah, it's too dark, and I don't have the strength for it. Okay. This is probably a scout with the binoculars and things. They seem to be pretty well paid, though, which is good. Or not good, but, like, it's good to know. Well, I'm going to go ahead and make my way back. I feel like I've got some good information.
Okay. Start heading your way back. You're about 1/3 of the way from the mouth of the cave. And all of a sudden you hear a boom. 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 And everybody at once, including the severely drunkards, stands at attention and looks towards the north,
Oh no.
as if waiting for something.
Okay, I will stop moving and also look towards the north. Maybe not stand attention, but
I'm now imagining your little rat, or sorry, lizard. Lizard's standing on his hind legs at attention.
Like the gecko from Geico.
right?
Yes.
So, but do not do that. Blend in with the wall.
Mm-hmm. And you see off into the distance, even at night, you can see this happening. Dim lights start to come up over the plateau. It's kind of like a dome of light. It's about a mile north. And clouds and winds start to swirl around this light. And it goes into a spiral. And it gets faster and faster and faster. And then all of a sudden it dissipates. And everyone pauses for about a minute. And then go back to whatever they were doing.
Huh.
Well, now I know out of character what the wind was doing. And
Yeah.
where the clouds were going.
Going over here for whatever that was.
Also, it looked a mile away, and the fact that you heard a boom and the hissing, it's big,
Yeah.
whatever this was.
Okay. Was that on top of the plateau? Is that right? Or is it just, I could see that over the plateau?
You could see the light over the plateau. You couldn't see anything beyond the light and the wind, but you did see light and wind.
Okay. Now, question for you. Where was that in relation to? So the temple is back around the plateau to the
West.
west.
So where you are, it's a little bit southwest, about a mile south and
Okay.
like 7 miles west.
Okay, gotcha. So further out into the area that we haven't explored
Yes.
down below. Okay.
So this is north. You have not gone north. You've been heading north this whole time. This is more north of where you are right now.
Okay. I am going to go rendezvous with my Koja.
You get back to Mykosia.
And unwild shape. Green sparkles fall off me.
What was that sound?
Something. Do not know. Seems big enough to be big.
Yes.
Yeah.
But maybe the magic, the transportation magic they talked about? Don't know.
I don't know. I don't know that type of magic.
Yeah, detect magic's not far enough out. Okay. Well, I don't know enough about casting arcane magic to be able to make a good guess on that. So, I think it is a good time to go back and report. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Okay.
And this will be on foot as opposed to riding because I've used my wild shapes, and so we will just be going.
Celestine and Izzy. The night becomes quiet. You hear crickets chirping, flies buzzing. It's annoying.
Lilac not back yet. Do you think he and Mykosia got caught?
Am I still sleeping?
Yeah, you probably are actually. I'm talking to Dora.
Okay, that works.
Okay.
I was like, should I answer? Am I sleepy? I'm I'm asleep.
I'm talking to Dora.
I don't know these people.
They're our companions. The
Okay.
lizard folk and the orc girl.
Okay.
I dismiss her. Call her back.
Hello.
You're not very helpful.
Aw.
Oh.
Her face gets really sad.
Sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant like you're great company. I really wish I could hear someone's thoughts that are not my own, I guess.
I'm sad.
Me too. Do you know Jaden?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad the other alternate me's know Jaden.
But the Echo doesn't know your other companions.
Apparently not.
Well, I know her. She points to Celestine.
Okay, at least there's
I know
that.
him. Points to Usurker.
Okay,
but I
we're good.
don't know the others.
I have not been with them long enough, I guess.
Your Echo didn't appear until...
But they're new.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense.
Anyways, I'm hoping they're not dead. Maybe I'll, say a little prayer to Timora asking for a little bit of her luck to keep Lilac and Mykosia safe wherever they are and that they'll come back quickly.
You see Dora's eyes well up with tears, and she dissipates.
I don't bring her back.
So Lilac, You and Mykosia have successfully moved away from the camp. However, you do see lights off in the distance, south of you, and it looks like guards are heading off to go to their posts. So Mykosia looks up at the stars, and at this point, it's about 10 p.m. at night. And she does tell you that to get to where you guys were and where the cave is, where everybody is, it's going to probably take until around 4 or 5 a.m. to get there. Is that okay? I'm going to need you and Mykosia to make a stealth check.
No, alternatively, we could go and then rest somewhere for an hour, and then I could turn into an animal and go. So that might be a thing.
Yeah.
'Cause we might move to a secure location and then do that.
Okay.
So that'll probably be a go-to. But you're asking for stealth.
Yes. And do you still have Pass Without a Trace up?
Maybe remnants of it.
Okay, we'll say it lasts for maybe 15 minutes.
Sure. That's enough to get us away.
Yeah.
So I rolled an 8, but I do have plus 10 for Path Without a Trace.
Okay.
So that is 18.
18. Mykosia got a 29.
Oh, good.
You and Mykosia move about 3 miles south. Back at the camp. Usarker, you have felt feverish all night. You've been in and out of consciousness. And you start dreaming.
I am dreaming, but not the maddening nightmares which have afflicted me of late. This is a good dream. As in all the best dreams, reality is less distant and more forgotten, a reprieve from the waking world and its endless pressures. My aunt, Esmeralda, claimed to have lived countless lives in her dreams, but of course she couldn't remember most of it in her waking mind, so it did her little good in my experience to have mastered the language of the night gods, or scaled the peak eternal and spoken to the silent sibyls of Cyric. Still, I am glad for this dream, and I hope that when I wake, some silver memory remains untarnished. I lie upon a divan, placed in the western balcony room of Pride Manor, gazing out upon Baldur's Gate through the vast windows which have been opened to let in the fresh evening air. A servant has placed before me Athcatlan wine, Chesantin lotus cheese, and rye bread, fresh from a local store of superior quality, though I have as yet touched nothing. I am not alone in my contemplation. My cousin Selmara enters the room. She knows my habits well and asks, "Are you troubled, cousin?" I turn to her. Selmara is tall, statuesque, and young, being just half a year from her maturity, but with a certain otherworldliness inherited from her long-truant half-elven father. She possesses all the Von Pride physiological traits: height, pale skin, a certain litheness, and luxurious black hair which falls in waves upon her shoulders. The family has great hope that she will attract a noble suitor of significant wealth and position, preferably before the less comely family traits begin to manifest. Much more important to me, however, are the invisible traits. Selmara is intelligent, clever, possessed of exceedingly sound judgment, and empathetic, something of a rarity in my family. These are the traits that have made her my favorite Von Pride, and I loathe thinking that soon she will be married to some toad of great wealth, whom we have never known. Yes, I say, I am beset by troubles in my waking world, and they have begun to come even into my dreams. I have nowhere safe to rest Selmara. She walks over to the divan and sits beside me, then without a word takes my head and guides it to her lap where she can run her fingers through my hair. After some time, I begin to tell her all my troubles, expounding from the beginning my war with the Cult of the Dragon, attempting to garner aid from the rulers of Bear Dusk, the ill-fated dream quest, along with its recurrent madness, and everything in between. She listens, and I feel the weight of my trials fall from me as I speak, like a burden of ice, which then melts into water and falls away. Once my cares are a distant memory, we two begin to converse in a more light-hearted manner. She shares with me what the family has been up to since I have been away on my adventure. We talk about the stars that have slowly begun to prick through the purpling sky, tracing their constellations and astrological significance. We speak with mirth of the architectural fads which have sprouted up in the city, finding new and ever more creative ways to blight the skyline. The dream, however, is reaching its inevitable end, and I stand to leave. As I do, I turn to thank her and see her face in full. Her visage is obscured, the last light radiating behind her and unable to illuminate her features. It seems, however, that there is a shadow of trouble there, a shadow in a shadow which I had not noticed, some trouble which she had not spoken of. Cousin, I ask, is something wrong? But I receive no answer. The dream has ended, and I awake.
Izzy, it's well after your watch, and you're kind of having trouble sleeping. The air is very stale in here. It's very hot. It's starting to... You know when you're in closed quarters and you've been touching people for a really long time and you're like, I just don't want to be touched anymore? That's kind of what it's feeling like when you wake up.
Gross.
Duraka is practically sprawled out right next to you, taking up double the space she should be.
Oh, so she totally has like an arm on my face. When
She
I
has
wake
an arm on your face, yeah.
Lovely.
That might be why you woke up. A big smack in your face.
Oh, yeah, that would hurt. Especially from a barbarian like Duraka.
Yeah. You do hear the light snores of Yreg, which kind of confuses you a little bit because he was supposed to be on watch. And you do see, from your limited scope of what you can see inside and outside, you do see his figure kind of slumped over, and he looks like he just kind of fell asleep during his watch.
So I'm going to remove Duraka's arm from my face.
And she goes back to sleep.
I am going to get up, first check on Usarker and make sure that he's still breathing because he's been unconscious and we don't know what's going on with him.
Go ahead and do a medicine check real quick.
Okay.
With disadvantage because it's kind of hard to
Okay.
see. You're basically going to be feeling in the dark unless you light
That's
it,
true.
unless you make light.
No, I can't do that. Not magically, at least. And I'm not going to spend time making a fire and alerting everyone where we are. All right. So with a +0, disadvantage 10.
He's definitely breathing. His fever seems to be going down.
Okay.
He's still not quite at a normal temperature. He does have a low-grade fever from what you can tell. His brow is a little bit sweaty, so you do feel like his fever is breaking.
Okay.
But it's still kind of high.
And as soon as I do that, I'm also going to go over to Yreg and shake his shoulder to wake him up.
Oh no, I am so
Are you
sorry.
okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I am so sorry.
Did you see anything before you fell asleep or?
I think I heard a giant shuffling around above us, but that was, well, I don't know how long I've been asleep, but it was an hour into my watch.
Can we kind of see the signs of sunrise starting to appear from outside the cave?
Not yet, no.
Okay. Are you good to keep staying on watch? Or
He stretches. Yeah, I apologize. That's not okay. I apologize.
well, it's kind of been a rough couple of days for all of us.
Indeed. How are you doing, by the way?
I mean, I'm doing as well as I can with the circumstances. Kind of wish we weren't stuck in this cave. I kind of wish I knew where Lilac and Mykosia are and if they're safe.
Well, Mykosia has always been an anxious person, but she is very good at what she does. I have no fears that they won't return.
Thank you. I needed that. Well, I'm going to try to go back to sleep because I need my 8 hours of rest.
I understand. Long rests are very important.
It's so hard to get them, it feels like. But wake me up if anything happens. I'm going to go back to where I was sleeping, but farther away from Duraka. I don't want to have another rude awakening again.
Okay. Lilac and Mykosia, you continue heading south. I am going to need you to do another stealth check.
Sure. That is a 12.
You feel confident that you are able to move on.
Okay. I think that we move along and then maybe find a place where we can rest up and take a short rest.
Okay. After another couple hours, you're now starting to get into like climbing. You're going to have to start climbing over things.
Mm-hmm.
So you do find a decent sized cave that you can hide in and take a short rest.
Cool. We do so.
Back at the camp. Izzy, you've been asleep for another hour and you're woken up again. Not because a hand slammed onto your face, but you feel breeze. Just a very gentle, weak breeze. You're in that state between dream and awake. And once you get to more of a coherent state, you feel that it's only on your, like, the bottom part of your face and, like, your chin area. You do not feel this breeze anywhere else.
Well, that's strange. I sit up.
As you do, you don't necessarily feel something tumble down on you, like something was standing on you and then tumbled down, but more like something kind of like water. You know how, like, when you walk into a waterfall, you feel that first brush of water coming over you?
The spray of water.
Yeah, the spray of water, but this is wind, and you feel this tumble into your lap. You can't see very well, but you do feel something partially corporeal sitting in your lap, and it is very weak.
So in my sleep-induced haze, I'm probably at first going to think that's whiskers, but when I go to feel for it, I'm assuming my hand passes through,
Yes, it does.
and I'm going to pause, kind of shake my head, and blink my eyes to see if I can adjust them to, like, get the sleep crust out of them.
You feel this semi-corporeal thing on your lap. You get the immediate feeling of help and ow.
Okay, I'm going to direct the thought where? Lead me, basically.
You feel it, kind of dancing around a little bit, and then it flattens, and you feel the word everywhere. It all hurts. Yereg looks over and says, Izzy, are you okay?
Just a second, Ereg, and I'm going to keep concentrating on this sentient blob of wind, and I'm going to say, how can I help?
You get the feeling of, I don't know. And also the words, but you seem safe.
I'm going to stretch out my arm, palm facing up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to invite it to, like, climb up my arm, kind of like, like a snake or something, curl up my arm.
So you feel this ball of wind, basically. It touches your palm, and you feel it trying to get up on top of your palm, and then it flattens again, and it goes back to your lap.
Can I attempt to pick it up?
Yeah. So you put your hands around it, and because you are an air genasi, you seem to be able to hold on to it a little bit easier than most people. You are part wind, after all.
I hold the whole wind in my hands.
It only just slides out of your fingers a little bit instead
Right,
of just
like
going
water.
entirely through.
Yeah.
I am going to... this is not what I'm used to. I'm going to practice my language abilities by speaking to the wind and storms and clouds and whatnot. And I'm just going to basically give the equivalent of, like, a bedtime story, because it seems like a young wind. So I tell this story about a young wind separated from its family. And even though it's been hurt and it's lost, it finds friends. And with those friends, it is able to find a strength within its own self. It's able to grow and become strong. And one day it knocks down a great tree that was deeply rooted in the ground. And with this triumph, the wind realized it didn't need help. Not all the time. It was strong on its own. But it still liked to be with its friends. Because its friends brought it happiness. Basically, the story will end up being this young wind, not the wind that I'm currently telling the story to, but the young wind in the story eventually reunited with its family, its clan. And it is happy to be with its own kind again, but it still occasionally misses its friends. And so every time you feel a gentle breeze on a hot summer's day, or anytime you feel that breeze coming off from the sea, it's that little wind trying to find its friends and give them a little encouragement to keep going in their own journeys and let them know that they're not alone, that the wind is with them.
So as you finish this story, you feel the wind get weaker and weaker, and you hear it say, "Thank you, goodbye, forever.
Oh.
Watch out. Watch out for the castle." And then it dissipates and it's gone.
Corin, what?
Goodbye forever.
It poofed.
So go ahead and make an Arcana
You're
check.
making me emotional over wind.
Go ahead and make an Arcana check real quick.
Poof.
Oof.
Well, 17 with my +0.
You don't know much about magic, but you have read fairy tales and stories and legends of creatures that are called elementals. And you think that you had come in contact with what was an air elemental, an extremely weak one, mind you, but the way that it was communicating and it could say a lot more words, you think it was a lot more sentient than the average wind that you've been talking to.
This
in
suddenly
this area.
makes sense to Izzy.
So this little air elemental sought you out, and you told it a bedtime story.
Oh.
It did mention a castle, though.
It did.
It'd be where the
Huh.
castle?
Beware the castle.
Huh. I don't know of any castles nearby that's...
Mm-mm.
I mean, there wasn't really a castle in Burdusk. There are no, royalty in the Sword Coast. I am crying by this point, by the way. Izzy is just in tears.
Yereg slowly and quietly makes his way over. He's like, are you okay? What's wrong?
The wind died in my arms.
What? What?
Hold on, I'm like...
Was that perhaps funnier than you intended even?
Yereg's like, I don't understand. It's breezy outside.
I have actual tears in my eyes from cry
Aw.
laughing. Oh. Okay.
Oh, the puns. The wind died in my arms. God.
Okay. Did you have a bad dream?
No, it wasn't a dream. It was too real. You know that I've kind of been learning how to speak to the wind, and you've seen me talk to clouds and stuff, right?
I thought you were crazy at first, but I guess it's real. You do have information about things, so
it's... She's wiping the tears from her cheeks and her eyes, and she's still emotional, but she's trying to calm herself down. And she says, "So, with my heritage, I actually have a connection to, I guess it's the, element of air or something like that."
Sorry, I don't know what that is.
Don't worry about it so much. Just, I wasn't making a joke when I said that something died just now. I think I was talking to an air elemental, and it died as I held it and told it a story, hoping to calm its fears, and it was apparently hurt, and I couldn't do anything. But it told me something about a castle, to beware a castle. I'm sorry, I'm being way emotional, and this probably doesn't make any sense to you.
I don't understand much of what you're saying, but I am sorry for your loss. And he puts a hand on your shoulder.
It's fine. How's everyone else doing? I'm probably making a scene and waking everyone up. Should stop that.
Everyone, he looks around. Everyone looks fine.
Is Usarker, is his fever broken yet?
Let me check. And he goes over to Usarker, puts the back of his hand on Usarker's head, smacks him a couple times to make sure he's not. I'm just kidding.
Why not?
Let's just wake him up.
We've already seen that. He does not have the greatest medicinal skills.
Yeah, puts his hand on the back of, puts the back of his hand on Usarker's forehead. Kind of gently moves his head around to see that it moves, and he whispers, it looks like Usarker's fever has broken.
Okay, good. How long do you think it's until sunrise?
At this point, 2 hours.
Still no sign of Lilik and Mykosia?
Not yet.
Okay.
Do you need anything?
Could really do for some of that songleaf tea from Lilik, but I don't think he left that behind here. So how...
Nope.
I'll be okay.
You see Yreg grabs for his water skin and pulls a few leaves out of his pack, and then he grabs a tin cup, puts the leaves in there, and pours the water and says, "It will take a long while to steep, but this should
help.
help."
Very long while.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. I mean, flavored water is a thing, right? So I'll take the cup. I won't really drink from it because, she might drink from it, but she actually might wait until he's not looking and remove the leaves are they big leaves?
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume that these are other tea leaves or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So if they're tea leaves, then
yeah, they're not just like he grabbed some leaves from the ground and stuck it in a.
I knew it wasn't gonna be that, but I was thinking, like,
it's grass flavored, oak flavored.
I was thinking more like a bay leaf.
Yeah. So when you get it close to your nose, it smells kind of minty.
Okay. I might take a couple of sips at it, but I probably won't drink it a lot just because I don't want to actually ingest the herbs.
Okay.
It's going to be too strong that way, and the water is not going to have much of a flavor anyways. But
Yeah.
I might take a couple of sips, and then I probably won't sleep for the rest of the watch. So if I get a level of exhaustion, then oh well.
Okay.
Because I think at this point, she's not going to be able to fall back asleep.
Yay, traumatizing situations.
Hooray.
Hooray.
I've just had an existential crisis.
The wind died in my arms. I mean, what else are you supposed to do?
So Lilik, you come to the end of your short rest.
Gonna turn into a cougar and gesture Mykosia. Let's go.
Okay.
And we speed off.
Speed off stealthily or speedy?
Speedy.
Okay.
We need to move away from this place.
Okay. You do so. You continue down south, and you do not recognize at all where you are anymore. Like, you have no sense of direction anymore. The terrain is looking a lot more disheveled. Even though Mykosia has that ranger ability that can speed you up, you are climbing over stuff and under stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you are going at a normal pace for climbing, unfortunately. Yeah. So it does take you twice as long as you expected. However, you come down the side of the plateau that is to your west, and you start heading north again. So you think you're getting close to where you were. I need you to make one more random encounter check. Actually, no. Usarker, you're going to do this one.
Excellent. Would you like me to roll a d20?
Please roll a d20.
10. Dead average. Cows.
Oh, cows.
The cows are going to die from the hill giants.
Off in the distance, you hear a faint moo.
Oh, no.
But do not run into anything else. And as you guys come around, you do start recognizing the terrain a little bit more. You head north another couple miles. Unfortunately, you're still climbing over a bunch of rubble.
Yeah.
But you do get there, and you are able to find the cave about an hour before sunrise.
Cool. I think at this point I'm probably back in my normal form, having dropped
Right.
wild shape. Before going in, look around the area, see if there has been any extensive tracks and travel around, maybe that they had left, or signs of conflict or things like that. Find a big glob of snot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
So you do come to the mouth of the cave. Mycosia makes a whistling sound that sounds similar to an owl. And you do see a head peek out, and it nods, and it lets you in. And that was Yereg, and you have made it inside the cave.
Oh, Lilac. Oh, good. I was really worried that you guys were dead.
We are not.
Okay, well, not a lot has happened here except apparently for me. But that's not important. What did you guys find out? Oh, maybe we should wait for everyone else to wake up. You guys probably want to rest, actually.
This is important. Can give the debrief, the report. Have found camp. Have found temple.
Oh, wow.
Yereg stops you and says, we should wake everybody up.
All right,
And
well, someone
yes.
else can wake up Daraka. I am not getting within her 5-foot radius. She smacks hard.
He sighs. Ugh, I'll do it. And he wakes up Celestine. He wakes up Usarker, who is now starting to come to consciousness.
Usarker looks visibly refreshed and feeling better today.
You see Yereg grabs a stick and just pokes Daraka in the cheek. Daraka, wake up. Wake up. And she turns over, moans, like, ugh, and then swings a punch but doesn't hit anything. What? I'm up. I'm up. I'm up. She's up.
I was really worried that she was going to have some, like, magical thing happen due to her barbarian
A
path
burst
or
of
something like
magical
that.
energy.
Every time she wakes up, she rages.
or like there's a not a full rage, but a brief sprout of rage magic, because it's in her subconscious. So
Yeah.
before she knows it's even there and it's gone by the time she's awake, she slapped you from across the room with a, hinky punk or whatever it is they summon. But it vanished before she ever came to full consciousness.
Yeah.
So yeah, everyone has now woken up and is refreshed-ish.
Izzy did not get a long rest. It's fine.
Yeah.
She did
And,
not.
and technically Lilac hasn't either, I'm
No,
guessing.
have not rested.
But it's okay, I'm still at full HP.
Lilac, Mycosia, you have returned.
Yes,
Yes.
we have much to report.
The location of the camp and the temple, they are not too far.
Oh,
But
that's good.
there are many scouts, many wyverns, many giants.
Did you happen to see a castle?
A castle?
Apparently, we need to beware a castle.
The
I'm going to
Don't-
look around at the rest of the party like I've missed something.
The temple was on top of plateau. Was high, was made of stone. Maybe a castle.
Maybe? Was there anything to beware about it?
Lots of wyverns.
Okay. Maybe that's what it was talking about.
What?
And Izzy's kind of mumbling to herself at this point, not really.
So wait,
speaking
where,
loudly
where,
enough for
where,
everyone else.
when nobody answers why, hey, this is some special information, I'm going to go ahead and say, Isidore, why are we concerned about a castle?
So you were still sleeping, but I had a conversation with something more sentient than the wind. I think it was an air elemental.
This sounds... You are learning.
Yeah,
You're
I
becoming
guess.
a druid?
Well, maybe.
We shall have much more discussions talking with the spirits.
Sure. It unfortunately died, though, and that's not as important as what you're asking about.
Was it some form
So-
of messenger with a message? I
It-
understand some spellcasters can do such things.
I don't know where it came from, but I know that with its last dying words, it said, "Beware of the castle."
You missed a chance to say with its last breath. So it could have been some sort of arcane, familiar type creature or messenger.
Could have been a natural spirit. Elemental.
Why would
The-
it tell her to avoid a castle?
She talks to spirits. Spirits tell many things.
Well, as one who does not talk with spirits, I will leave it up to your specialization and expertise in that.
Well, unless we find out about an existence of a castle that I am not aware of in this area, I guess we're just going to make the assumption it's that temple that Lilac found. And it's Hoard.
Oh, great and mighty DM, can I do a knowledge history check to know about local castles?
Sure.
That's a very high roll, 23.
So you do know that there is a castle-like structure in Elturel.
Okay.
There were kings in this area before Elturel was even created as a city-state, and that is usually used for either the governor or for parliament or different things like that of Elturel. There was one in Baldur's Gate quite a few hundred years ago, but it was destroyed. Candlekeep is a castle. And the only other castle you can think of is there's one in Neverwinter. However, it's kind of turned into like a history museum.
And I assume
But those
that
are the
there are
most
some
local castle structures.
I assume there are a fair number of minor castles, all the things that adventurers wander into in this region that are castle-like.
Yeah, there's castle-like things. There's keeps. Many, many towns have keeps.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing really in this area. Like this mountain range has never, to your understanding, has ever had a castle.
All right, so I list off all the famous castles in the region, and then I list off a few obscure castles and minor castles and things like that and keeps, and say, but as far as I know, none of those are around here in particular.
When Makoja and I were leaving the camp, there was a strange thing. Well, there are many soldiers in the camp, many soldiers, and there was a booms and the hisses. Strange.
Did you get a rough count how many soldiers, if you had to make an estimate for military purposes? I say, and I'm pulling out my notebook.
His good army is many hundred.
Usarker would, kind of press on this because from a tactical point of view, like knowing how large the military force here is something that would be very valuable to send as information. But I'm not sure, like out of character, whether or not you spent the time to calculate that or anything like that.
I think that maybe Lilac would kind of, in the sand on the ground there, would maybe sketch out the area with his claws and describe what it kind of looked like and to give kind of a scale, I guess.
Could it maybe be a history check in order to do kind of a tactical military strategy of this is how much space an army of X size footprint leaves?
That could fit into a specific area? Is that what you're asking?
Right, and live in that specific area. Because these are things that, our characters might be familiar with as, trained combatants that I myself
Can I
am not.
assist with that using survival to, get an idea of this area here is, this length of distance? Drawing the map, I guess. Because it was in, this horseshoe kind of deal.
I actually think this might be an insight check.
All right. Regardless, when I'm making either a insight or an intelligence history check, I can use tactical assessment. And
Okay.
so I would like to do that.
And you will have advantage because Lilac is drawing it out for you as best that he can.
All right. So that's a natural 20
Hey.
and a 15. I'll take the natural 20. Thanks.
So
Good
what's
rolls.
the total?
So that will be a total insight, not my greatest, but with a bonus 26.
You think that based on what Lilac has drawn for you, that many, many, many more hundreds of people could survive and be able to keep a very comfortable tactical position there. What he was seeing was maybe reduced forces.
Okay.
And based on what Lilac has been telling you, you could probably guesstimate anywhere between 200 to 500 men,
Oh,
women, and
is that all?
children. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a lot fewer people than I thought it would be.
Yeah, he only saw a few hundred or so. So anywhere between 200 and 500 that is currently there. But this area could probably, if they really squeezed, 3,000 people.
Okay.
So you found the camp. Did you happen to get any clues as to how they're transporting their whateverness off the grid?
No,
so to speak?
did not see anything, but was telling about the boom and the hisses, the
Oh.
magic. There was wind and clouds that were spinning.
Oh, what? Oh my
Izzy.
gosh. And like Izzy's having this epiphany moment. I think that's connected to the clouds that I talked to the other day when they were saying that they're going in a direction that they didn't want to go. Maybe it's that. And like she's starting to feel a little more like herself now that she has something else to focus on as opposed to the death of this air elemental. And so she's starting to get a little more upbeat about this and more involved in this conversation.
Well, it kind of nods and like, this is possible. Do not know for sure. Only saw from distance. Could not get close. Heard the soldiers talking about the many new recruits. Talking about the Rezmir. This is someone
We've heard that name.
in Berdusk. Was it Mina talking?
Something about his mask or something, right?
I think she found out that information from Sir Collart. Sir Collart, in his confession to Mina, Izzy makes a face. Yeah, I think Sir Collart mentioned something about her mask being stolen, and she was upset about it.
The Rezmir is the one who made the raids. Is the planner. Is the organizer.
Ah, so Madame Mudface works for her.
Nods.
I've told you all about Madame Mudface, by the way. Just
Nods.
So do we have any idea what this meteorological phenomenon was?
The camp seemed to know. They all stood. They looked towards it and then continued. Seemed a regular thing, but important.
maybe like a ritual.
Maybe.
Well,
Shrugs.
It would make sense if this is something that they are familiar with, and it's clearly not a natural part of the environment.
Other thing, they said that there were prisoners that are weak, die soon.
Well, we know at least that your Jaden is a potential prisoner. Can we think of any other prisoners offhandedly? I mean, who knows how many people they've kidnapped, but
There are many raids on the towns, so they take people.
But why are they dying? That suddenly strikes me as odd. In the past, it's always been about ransoming. They've always been very money-oriented. A dead prisoner can't be ransomed. Well, I mean, you could try, but it's much less effective.
Maybe they don't need money anymore. Maybe they want to set an example, a warning to others.
No, this was not a they are dying. Yeah, this was a this is frustrating. They are dying.
Perhaps
so they
there's a
don't want their
disease.
prisoners to die.
Perhaps there's a disease in their dungeons or something.
What you heard was that they didn't expect the prisoners to survive another few days.
And this is too small of a group right now to be the only cultists, so it may not even be the camp where Jaden is imprisoned.
But maybe Mina's grandson is.
Are we rescuing Mina's grandson?
It's not my intention to. But I'm also not going to outright refuse to help him if he happens to come across our path.
Agreed.
But I'm not going to go out of my way and put myself in danger just to find him.
So, tell me again, did you say that you'd seen how they were transporting the stolen valuables?
No,
So that's still a mystery to us entirely?
this seems. But thinking that maybe it is the magical thing that I saw
Oh, you
on
think that
the north side of the camp.
You think
Oh.
the meteorological event is also how they're doing it? You said it was wind related. Is it perhaps possible that they have some magical wind conveyance and that they're throwing the gold through the air?
I think that you talked about the circle in the building in Berdusk.
Ah, yes, in Bear Dusk, the teleportation circle
Of doom.
used by Faradin.
Maybe there's a circle here.
I'm afraid I'm not very familiar with magic. Our most magically talented person is unfortunately dead. Well, arcane magically talented. No offense, sorry.
Lilith, go ahead and make an insight check really quick.
Sure.
Based on this thread of
You say
thought
insight?
process. Yeah.
Okay.
Celestine also doesn't take offense.
Who am I inciting?
Yourself.
That's really strange. I guess so.
Memory.
Hey, there's a natural 20.
Hey!
Plus 4.
So as you guys are going down this vein of thought, Lilith, you remember that the kobolds were talking about a whooshing sound in a cave, but when you heard the boom hiss,
Didn't
you
see
didn't
anything.
hear any whooshing.
Yeah.
So you think as you're thinking about it, you're like, maybe they're separate. Because the kobolds also said that they had left the camp, so the whooshing was inside the camp somewhere. But the phenomenon that you experienced was about a mile north. So you think that maybe they're separate.
I didn't see any circles. I mean, it was dark, but
Yeah, you didn't
I
really
was
see any
around the
circles
edges.
out in the middle
Okay.
in the camp, no.
I do like the mental image that they're kind of like, using a wind tornado or something and jettisoning the gold through the air.
I mean, that's one way to not have anybody know what's happening to the gold.
Right, out in the middle of the open.
Look up. What is that?
Wow, there's something glinting in like the starlight.
Can you imagine a
interesting.
misfire? Like it just like a big chunk of gold just
rains
comes
gold.
raining down in Burdusk and kills everybody.
and you're hoping that they've sorted it so they got rid of the kitchen sink.
You hope.
Oh dear.
Oh boy. On the thinking, maybe not this thing. Maybe the kobolds said it was whooshing. This was boom and hiss. I mean,
Yes,
kobolds make kind of funny noises and think noises are different, but
I do remember them saying that, yes.
it was whoosh, whoosh. So, and that was in cave.
And this is more whoosh, whoosh, winds.
I saw boom.
Interpreting this, it sounds like lots of air-related phenomena, potentially.
But yes, I think that we need to go and look,
Yeah, I agree.
investigate more.
Well, before we do that, have we met the criteria of our primary objective, which was to find the cult, find their base, and then report it back into Beardusk so that they can send military forces?
They also asked us to find out how they're transporting things. So
Right, but we
I've
ought
not
to,
done this yet.
we ought to secure the piece of information that we do have. And if they're transporting things via magic, it may be very hard for us to, learn what it is.
we may not need to go back all the way to Burdusk. If we need to, we could probably go back to where the orcs are, and they can send a messenger to Burdusk.
Or we could send the orcs with a message. I'm going to turn to Mykosia. Are any of your companions or you yourself capable of making the journey back without the rest of the full party here carrying a letter?
Mykosia,
We can.
I think I remember the route there. I could lead the companions here if you wanted to take yourself and the others back to the camp and communicate what we have found.
We can do that. Do you want us to go now before the sun fully rises?
I haven't written up a report yet.
I think that you and I need to rest.
Okay.
So while this is all going on, Usarker is going to set about creating a detailed report back for Beardusk.
So, Usarker, you're preparing this report, and the sun starts to rise. And that's where we're going to end our session. Also, you guys get to level 5!
Hooray!
This is exciting.
Extra attack, here I come.
Now we can fight even bigger monsters.
I may be wrong, but I think this might be where I get to turn into flying things.
This is-
Maybe. I'm going to have to research that.
Your big kicker is probably going to be 3rd level spells.
Yeah, I mean, that's a thing.
That's a real thing. Also, I'm looking forward to Druid multi-class Izzy now.
Yeah, no.
Now that it's been suggested.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
You never know.
Maybe.
No.
Hey everyone, this is Corin. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Power Word Crit. Stay tuned for more adventure on powerwordcrit.com or your favorite podcast streaming site.